Sure. I am Amie Pouges. I was actually born and raised here in Frisco when it was a little nothing town and didn't even have a red light in it. I really have enjoyed watching Frisco grow, although it's grown a lot really fast. I have a husband who I adore and two beautiful kids and two beautiful granddaughters. So we are a house full of girls in my world, and I really believe we gotta love each other, love people, and that's how we show God our appreciation for all that He's done for us. And really, I have a heart for helping women, especially lonely women who feel like they don't fit and don't belong, and that's something that I take very seriously. So professionally, I am a training director for a bank that I love to work with, and I love the way that it gives me opportunity to empower people and help them find what they're good at and what they're strong at. I'm really active in my church. I do a lot from leading studies and getting women together, just stay in communication. Sometimes I think it's really easy as a female to feel like you're going through something that is so unique and you're all alone in it. And many of us have gone through very similar struggles, even if not the same thing, we can relate. And I like for there to be that open door where there's always someone that you can call and talk to. And, not necessarily, just gripe sessions, but more uplifting sessions. How can we look at this in a way that this is part of your development, this is part of your growth, and it's preparing you for the next thing that God's about to bring your way. And I like to have fun, so it's not all business. I really am playful and silly, and so I enjoy those connections with other people as much as I want to give and share with others. I feel like I get that and more back by those connections, because that's what enriches my life. I'm all about relationships. Sure. So from a career standpoint, I feel like God has just opened windows of blessing over me for years and years and years. I am not qualified, if you look on paper at my resume, to do what I do. I did not graduate from college. I had a child at 22. My husband and I were both young, figuring things out. But I started in banking, opening accounts for people, and have continually served people well. And that has served me well, because whenever I give my best and, I don't halfway do anything. If there's just an assignment to be done and there's a set of instructions of how to do it, I'm going to do that, but I'm also going to look for ways to improve and do better. So that's something that has really helped me continue to elevate throughout my career. I moved from retail banking several years back into the training department, and that's really where I found my niche. I always said whenever I was in banking center management that my favorite part was coaching people, helping people figure out what they're good at and helping them grow the things that they're good at rather than focus on the things that are a challenge. So in the training world, I get to do that regularly, and I get to be Christ-centered and treat people in a way that lets them know that they're valued and that they do have something that they are uniquely equipped to do without having to say, Jesus said it. So they get to experience me, and then they get to connect with me on a more personal level, and then they know where all that comes from. So that is the way I get to use ministry in the workplace without, having to say I'm doing ministry, right? But as far as what I would say is a challenge, being a mom, being a wife, being a full-time employee, being someone who's keeping all the balls in the air, making sure the important people still feel important, making sure that the responsibilities are getting handled, everybody's fed, there's groceries, the schedule is done, people know where they're supposed to be at what time. I feel like I'm moving into a new phase of life as my youngest daughter is 18 and graduating high school this year. And I'm excited about that. I'm excited to have a little bit more freedom to focus on my husband and I, and a little less on what everybody else needs, and that, we've seen that transition over the last couple of years as we've had more freedom, and it's really been nice. So I'm excited about this. Okay. Oh goodness. I feel like so many of us are afflicted with a high level of insecurity, and we do not recognize our value. And I have personally had to remind myself over the years and continually this morning that my value does not come from anybody else. My value comes from the Lord. And He made me to be where I am, doing what I'm doing, and touching the people that I'm touching every day. And I have to make the most of every minute. I hate to miss an opportunity where I know God told me to do something and I was too chicken to do it. So I feel like if I can just keep myself with that thought top of mind, then I'm reminded that insecurity is not for me to have. That's not what I'm made in the image of. I am made in the image of power and strength and love. And with those things, I can make a difference wherever I am and whatever I'm doing. So I've had to overcome a lot of feeling inadequate. I never felt like I belonged in the places that I was because the people around me were, better equipped, better educated, more polished. And I did not grow up polished. So I have developed over time, my way, which is still not polished, but it is pleasing. And I have a positive effect on people, and I always want them to feel better when they leave me. So that's something that is very important to me. People come first. I know in business, profits are important, and we have to be smart, and we have to be willing to make hard decisions, but never to forget the people that our decisions affect, and never shortcut a situation to the point where you're not giving credit where someone deserves credit, and you're not taking credit for someone else's work. Remember that everyone who's contributing is a part of our opportunity to win and to improve. And I just feel like it's so easy to lose sight of people and to focus on outcomes. And outcomes are important, but if you lose people along the way, then you didn't win. Figure out what you like. What is it that you enjoy? What part of your job is making you feel stuck, or your career or your business, whatever your situation is? But what is it that gives you energy? What drives you? Remember what your why is, and remember what it is that you enjoy doing, and do more of that. If it's more people that you need, or if it's more rest that you need, whatever your unique situation is, you can make small shifts that make a huge difference if you can just figure out where is it that you get joy in what you do. I'm really proud that I've been with my current company for 10 years in July, and that is pretty consistent with how I behave in my life. Like, I don't change a lot. I stick with something. And I feel like I have been able to bring a great deal of value to the different places that I've worked, because I stay and I work through the issues rather than leaving to get away from them, which I feel like is so common these days. I had a friend one time who told me that she didn't like to stay places more than a couple of years because that's when your dirt started catching up with you. And I thought to myself how sad that is, that after you leave, the dirt's coming out and people are going to find out what a crummy job you were actually doing. I'm very proud of the quality of work, and I'm very proud of the way that I keep people at the center, and that I'm willing to do hard things and to stay and get things done and see them through to the end, rather than leaving for the next shiny opportunity that comes my way. So that's something that I am proud of. You know, if you're starting to feel like your cup is empty because you're putting too much out there, remember there's power in saying the word no, and it's okay that you don't participate in everything that gets brought your way. It's okay to miss out on a couple of things so you can recharge and refocus on what's really important. Specifically to working moms and wives, you know, there's a lot of hats we wear, and it can feel like we're not keeping up when we're looking at the highlight reels on social media. And it's not important to keep up. It's important to stay healthy. So we've got to keep ourselves and our families and our jobs, all of the things that we are responsible for, we've got to keep them at the forefront and make sure that we don't lose sight of the things that are really our priority when we get distracted by all the greatness that we see going on in other people's lives. So our lives are great too, and if we pick out the 5 minutes a day where they're great and we post it, then it looks like everything's perfect. But we all know that there's things on the floor that need to be picked up, you know. So pick up the stuff and keep walking.